All right, guys. Let's see. I'm just gonna send out a message here. Um, and another screen, and then we'll get started. This is just kind of an ad hoc video. Just wanted to do something after the show like I normally do. I need to do more of these videos. Um, finally I think I'm finally at the end of this stupid cough that I've had since, I don't know, whenever I get these colds or whatever, the cough part seems to linger. Um, so anyway, okay. So I just thought I would come on here and talk a little bit about our show that we had this last Sunday. I know it's Wednesday. I know I'm you know, kind of doing this like, short notice, that sort of thing. But I wanted to do it while I was thinking about it, and then talk a little bit about our upcoming shows that are coming up. If you guys have questions or comments and you want to put those up, I'll try to answer those like I normally do. Um, but hope everybody had a great February. We are at the end here. March is coming up. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the next couple months, and I'm going to talk about that also tonight. So um, February was pretty interesting. I mean, you had the MegaCon show, our Con Misfits, that was a few weeks ago, and probably know that we have had for probably the last 4 years. We've had the Space Coast Collector Fest. Typically, we've been doing it 2 shows a year, or we'll do 1 show a year in November. But the February date, um, let's see. All right. The February date um, was where we started. This last weekend was where we had started. I would say 2021 probably is when we had our first Coco show at the Space Coast Convention Center. They have a really nice, that building there is pretty nice. The people there are really nice. The customers really like us being there. It is one of our smaller shows typically. I had to look at my machine there. The color looked off. I'm like, is that broken? But no, it's good actually. Um, anyway, so let's see. So yeah, so we started out in 2021 with the show in Coco, and then we added a November show. The building there is very easy to deal with as far as management. And actually the manager that's been there back when COVID and everything, they're the same people that run it. I mean, she has a bigger staff now, but basically the people that are there, they've been consistent. They're like one of the only hotels that have been consistent um, with us there. So I we like going there because they're really easy to deal with. I just give them dates and stuff like that. Now we had a record show. Thanks Marcy for that was like one of the, I think the first time that her and husband actually set up there, so that's cool. But all right, so we had a record show this last Sunday. Typically, and by that I mean we probably had at least 200 people more than we had last February. Okay, and we had double the amount of people than we had in November. And this is the reason why I originally had said we're not going to do a November show this year. I still don't think we're going to do the later show in November. I think we're going to try to do something a little early. Maybe we'll try to come back there. I haven't contacted the hotel since we left yet, So I'll do that, and we'll see if we can get maybe a fall date. And because a lot of people that came expressed that they would want us to come back this year. And a lot of my shows I try to do like a spring fall type thing. Okay. um awesome, Jose. You're a newer vendor. I'm glad you had a great show. I know Corey, um uh he's online, he's Valentine or whatever. He had a really good show too. And then Bill said that you said it wasn't a Godzilla day, and you gotta send me more photos, man. But Bill's a great guy, great supporter. Thanks for coming out and all that. Um, let's see. Improvements that we could have made. Now I'm working without notes here because I had some other calls and stuff come up. Um, in between when I posted this, and then I was fixing a couple things. And anyway, so improvements that we can make there. Um, I really don't see any improvements of what we can do there. I would like to do, if based on based on this weekend, I'm gonna maybe try to go and try a 2-day show there next year. I don't know. The venue has been wanting me to rent both days, and I think they'll give me a deal on that. So I'm gonna maybe try to do that. And I think once I go to 2 days, now I can try to bring a guest in, okay, or something, and we can do more. I know we could do something where we for sure could probably have like a nighttime show, and then the regular show. I don't know if we'll do that, but I'm gonna look into it. Okay, because we're gonna make a lot of changes. I mean, I'm making changes this year, but a lot of the stuff where I'm gonna expand out and do more, I'm gonna do that probably more next year. I'm kind of feeling it out. I don't want to go. I want to do bigger things. The venues, they're filling up, and they want you to do the weekend. That includes Kissimmee, which I'll get into in a minute. But these venues, they want you to rent more time. They want you to be there more. They want you to spend more money. And some of them, I'll go back to Kissimmee as an example. They really, I think they don't like that I just rent that smaller room, but it's their fault that I rent the smaller room, because there's the problem with the Heritage Park. And I told the lady this, is that there's no, I'm going to say, 4-star hotel that's near there. Okay. They're talking about building one, where we can put guests for a whole weekend show. And then the other problem is, the other thing is once you go, so I'm going to skip the South Florida show for just a minute and move to Kissimmee. So we are going to be in the smaller room. Okay. This is the last year. When I say last year, this year, I'm going to stick with my smaller space show. And the reason why is there's several reasons, but as long as we still get the same numbers that we normally have gotten the last year or so, I'm going to go ahead and go with the bigger space next year. I did think about doing it this year, but the building. So what happens when we go from the smaller space in Kissimmee that we've had the last 2 years or 3 years or something? We did have a bigger show. If you guys remember, 21, 22 March shows were Super RetroCon and Retro Toy Con or whatever. Those were in the larger space. And if you don't get a lot of people in that 25,000 square feet that they have 5,000 and they have 25,000. So if we don't get a lot of people, then it looks like there's nobody there. Okay. And vendors don't like that. Vendors, when I have vendors come up and go, there's nobody here, and I say, well, there's 400 people in here, that doesn't make me want to go and rent it again. And it doesn't matter. I can, there's in Orlando area, there's enough vendors that want to sign up to the show. We are just a niche. We are a niche show. We're not an everybody show. We're not a Comic-Con necessarily. We're not a craft show. So we have a niche of people and a niche of vendors that are going to set up at our event. And so we're not necessarily going to get, several thousand people in a weekend. And as much as I'd like a lot of people, I'm still okay with what we do. I am very okay with what the show that we have. And I think we have attendance every show because that's been great. Let me go ahead and again, thanks Corey for talking about Coco and Margaret, who's pretty much exclusive with us now. Shout out to them. Appreciate that. Vendors have a lot of choices out there to sell their stuff, and it's great that they choose us to do the shows. All right, now Corey is semi-new to us. We started in November, first show in Tampa. So I'll go ahead and talk about the hotel rate. Do we get a group rate on the hotel stays? I should have asked before. Okay. Now, I do have a group rate for, I think, the North Florida show in St. Augustine. I do have a group rate for that. But in general, I kind of don't even bother asking about it too much. I mean, if we're doing it at a hotel, I will ask for a group rate. But if we're not doing it at a hotel, I'm not going to run out and try to find a hotel to give me a group rate because vendors don't use it. Okay. They don't use it. I get it. And it's usually a block of at least 10 rooms. And then let's say 2 vendors will sign up. Okay. And so then because everybody has their own, Marriott, like discount, or they've got their freebie credit card points that they use or something like that. And that's all good. But the problem is that I can't go to a hotel and sell them on filling rooms when everybody's just going to do whatever they want anyway. So I don't bother. Okay. At this point, hopefully, it's just, I got to go there, and a lot of times I got to go there and sign things and all that. I mean, I have some ideas. If you're looking for something in Sarasota, I have some ideas of where to stay, and this and that. But I'm really, I'm not really focused on the hotel portion because for the last 5 years I've tried to do that a little bit, and basically it's useless because I go to the manager of the hotel and they're like, well, yeah, you got these 5 rooms, whoopee-doo, so they're not going to give me a deal because we don't do enough business with them. I mean, that's just reality. Okay, so let me go ahead and let's see. We said anything else about Coco? I think I gotta manage the parking there a little bit more, and then I'm trying to think. I can't really think of anything else there. That is a place that the rooms are decent, and I'd like to do more at that location. Last thing about the last thing that I'll say about the Coco is that there is the Melbourne auditorium, okay, and and the reason why that I don't use that space is because, again, the Space Coast hotel there is very easy to work with, and the auditorium is a very high deposit. They're booked out like a year in advance, and they want a lot of money up front, and then at the same time it's a big space, and I don't sometimes I have a tough time filling just the Coco. So it's a big space, guys. So anyway, all right, let me go ahead and let me go back to the thing, and then I'm going to talk about I'll go back again and talk about Kissimmee and the South Florida show. Let's see. Good show in Coco. Thanks a lot, Brian. I'd love for you to come out and do more shows with us, but I understand. Oh man, you had to bring that up. I wasn't even going to talk about that. We did have a little drama before the show. Vendor, customers. This is all among some new vendors, new and old vendors. I will just since he mentioned that, I'm going to just talk a little bit about that and just say that, I try to be as clear as I can on what the amount of space that you have. Keep in mind that, I don't get there and, like for instance, the one thing that I do get a little irritated about on this location is I do have to move the tables around basically every time. I got to move all the middle tables over. I give everybody a specific map. It's very well detailed. I could share it here. But anyway, so to keep the vendor spaces, the cost down, I don't do 10 by 10s unless I have a large space. Okay, guys. Or it makes sense to do 10 by 10s. And so most of my spaces are either a 6-foot table or an 8-foot table. Then you have about 4 feet. I try to have it 4 feet behind your table because I know you need shelving and all that. And then we have a minimum of a 6-foot aisleway walkway there. And I'm very strict. That's the only thing I'm really strict on is the aisleway, keeping that clear. And then, okay, so what happens is, and I love all the vendors, okay, but a lot of times the new people, or there's people that feel, well, hey, it only takes me 30 minutes to set up, so I can show up at 8 o'clock. Well, we start set up typically at 6:30 in the morning, and then we open at 9. Okay, now veterans, the people that know what they're doing, they get there at 6:30, 7 o'clock. Newer people that maybe it's not, they're just, hey, I'm going to come in and I got my space. They'll come in later. Well, what happens is the other vendors, everybody takes up their space plus whatever they can get. And so then what you have is spaces where, you can't move things around too much. And maybe somebody took a little bit of too much space, or they're new and they don't know how the space works and all that. And so you get some drama from that. Okay. And that's really what happened there, Brian. And the other thing is, you got some competition locally for things, and and you got people that are like, oh, you're not talking to me, you're too good for me, whatever. We don't need that. We don't need that at our show. Okay, so leave that crap home. All right. I get I get a little upset sometimes, and maybe I even did that today. If you guys followed the thing on Sarasota ad, which I'll just quickly mention here, but I mean, I go to shows. If you guys see me at a show, there'll be people that are other promoters, or other people that do shows. They'll be set up there and they won't talk to me. They'll ignore me. They'll act like I'm not there. They'll bark at me if I say hi, like, what are you doing here, Jeff? Or, I told you the date or whatever. It's like, it's not like that. I feel like myself when I go to shows sometimes, like people are like, what the hell is Jeff doing here? And it's like, I didn't start this. I didn't start this thing for money. I didn't start this thing as really even a full-time business. I started it for the things that you see behind me. I'm a toy person. I've collected for a lot of years. There were not shows when I started. There were not toy shows when I started. There were a couple, like a Hot Wheels show and a Star Wars thing, which I've taken over, and that's it. It was all Comic Cons. There were no toy shows. Okay, now Tom could say, well, hey, Tom could say, well, hey, we were doing toys and comics. Tom's show is mostly comics. So, and I didn't know about his show when I started. So there probably was some toys, but the reality, that's why I started it. But anyway, my point is, I don't remember my point, but my point is that people that, do that to me or make me feel that way or give me the cold shoulder because I'm Jeff, the promoter. I just ignore it now. I just move on. But there was some drama there because of that. All right. Josh says he has a guest room at his house. I don't know if that's what he means or not. If he does, then I'll probably hit him up. Okay. Chris had a great time in Fort Myers. Yeah, we're going to be back down there. I may move that show up a little bit. I'm still waiting on the contract. This lady at Coral Springs is rough, man. It's like I messaged her last week and I'm still waiting for a dang email. Like, I don't understand this contract. It's like, all right. And Corey, yeah, you're making plenty of money. So if you got to, you don't need to do that, but that's on you, bro. You do what you want. It's cold enough out there. You can camp out. It's all good. All right. Yeah. And Brian, yeah, it was a good time. Things are happening. Thanks, Joey. And, okay. Sarasota hotel question. Okay. I will send out, a place that I had TK. It's a place about maybe 5 miles from the venue. It's an older hotel, an older couple, but it's nice, and an older couple runs it. I think I sent it to somebody. I don't remember who, but I did send it to somebody. All right, let's go to the schedule here. All right, so again, in just over a week, I'm going to start putting out the sample images tomorrow. So if you are a vendor at the South Florida Collector Fest in March 9th, please send me photos. I will send out a message to everybody about this. Yeah, let me go ahead and no, it's the same. I'm the same size no matter what. Okay. And they made it so I could actually show the actual image on here. So they've upgraded this system a little bit. But anyway, so on March 9th, we'll be back at Lake Worth. That is 100% sold out. I'm waiting to see if Kaz will be there. They may or may not be there. I don't know. We are going to have some new vendors that weren't set up last time. A couple people fell off. But we do have a bunch of the ones that were in January. The next show down there is October. I will be opening whatever is left there on the 10th. And so that room is now that is about 52 tables, I think. And so, once I open that back up for October 12th here, and you want a table, you want to be in. Kissimmee is sold out also. Again, I'm even using the hallway this time. Kissimmee is, let me go back to myself. So March 15th, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to myself. So Kissimmee, what I'm going to do is this spring. So spring and fall are close. Fall, the numbers are a little less than spring usually. Not a huge amount now, but a little bit. So I'm going to wait. So next spring, I'm going to do the bigger space. This one here is sold out. We're at our smaller space. I told everybody back in November, the room only has 50 tables, or 50, a little bit more than 50 tables. And that's it. I try to be as choosy as I can. My Lakeland Ghostbusters will be out there in the hall with us. I think Jennifer is going to be out there. I think we'll have Ellen Grimes. out there. We'll probably have a Pokemon guy out there and somebody else. I'm not sure. But it's just that, again, at the Osceola Heritage Park, which I like, once we go to that bigger room, they add the security in where they're checking your bag in there, and they basically forced me to do it. So, there's a bunch of labor that goes in added to the show, and then there's just a bunch of added costs, which isn't a big deal because there's enough space to sell enough vendor space to cover that. But I just want to make sure that we're going to have the numbers. I want to have just the overall feeling of economy and stuff to be coming back. And we have consistent numbers. The other issue, and I told the lady, I said, when I started, there really wasn't a lot of shows. Now in Orlando, there's a show almost every weekend, it seems like. But I will say our shows are unique to us pretty much. So all the other shows I've been to are very different. They either, focus on cosplay, guests, cards, whatever, which I do feel like I should do a card show, but not there yet, I guess. Because I feel like Pokemon cards is almost like Funko now. Okay, the other show we've got at the end of the month, I do have space for the Star Wars and G.I. Joe collectors. I am really strict with that show, though, as far as who sets up. That's our little show, our little Star Wars show that we've been running since 2020. So, let's see. And I don't know. I mean, I'd like to. We're gonna run it a couple times this year, and we'll see if we run it next year, because I think the people that come to that show are pretty hardcore Star Wars and G.I. Joe, and so vendors, there aren't a lot of vendors with that stuff, so even filling that small space sometimes can be a little. Usually it's not a big deal, but I will say that this date here, and I don't really look at other people's dates too much unless I want to go to the show when I'm doing this. I mean, I used to look at everybody else's dates and go around that, but now I'm more like, where are the shows that I want to go to? Where are the things that I need to do? Where how close do I have another show? Different things like that. And in this case, Toylanta, which was recently purchased up in Atlanta area, that has a new owner, and that person went from they've never had guests to now they have a ton of guests, and now they've joined it with PowerCon and all this stuff, and so it's going to be a big deal. And so it just so happens to be on that weekend. So I got a couple people that bailed on the Star Wars show. So I do have a few tables there, not a lot, but I've got maybe 4. So if you guys are interested in that, we can do that. So that's going to be March. If you want to get into either of the South Florida or the Kissimmee, you would need to message me like a couple days before, because I have a line for both of them, and I don't have any cancellations as of yet, but that could change. All right. Let's see. Let me go back down and go back to, let's see, Brian here. Everyone wants to feel special, and sometimes that's not the case. Going back to the Coco drama, I would agree with that. I think the problem is that, again, the wives in this case, well, actually, you're talking about the 2 guys, the locals, and yeah, I agree with that. But the other thing, yeah, let me just move on. Good time, okay, and all right, and yep, Bill is in. Bill is the gods. He has Godzillas. He's got all kinds of stuff. Great guy. Promotes our shows heavily there down in the Melbourne and the Port St. Lucie area, and he'll be there for sure. I'm down there in South Florida. So if you're looking for Godzillas, you're looking for that sort of stuff, come on down there. All right. Just had my order shipped from Kaz, and he told me they were going to be at the Tampa show. Okay. Yeah, I'm waiting for Chris to give me a list of shows that he's going to be at. He may be at the South Florida one. And again, Lakeland Ghostbusters will be there. I think he came out, and these guys have been a long time supporters of our thing. We need to get more of its group, the expanded group out there. Just haven't done that. Let's see. Recommendation for other shows that week. All right. Message me on that. And let's see. All right. We need more wrestling. I don't know what that means. We're not going to be doing the live wrestling again. Anytime soon that I know, because if I do that, I have to add. It has to be either a separate ticket, or I have to add to the cost of the entry to the show to pay for it. Because the way that works is I pay everybody to basically show up. I have to pay basically paying every wrestler to be there, and the ring and everything. It's like a package deal. So, and I lost money last time. So I don't do stuff just to lose money unless, it just didn't work last time. Well, maybe we'll try it again, but I'm not like, I know the last one was successful at the Central Florida Comic Con. They seem to be, they did it there. Yeah. And Corey, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if you're talking about a date. I don't know anything. Okay. Yeah. Bill will be in Kissimmee. Also, he does a lot of shows, most of the ones on the East Coast, and then some Tampa. All right. Lots of loose figures. We just did a complete tour of South Carolina and all during November and December, these shows have nothing on. Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for pointing that out there, Bill. Appreciate that. Okay, let me go back to the map or the schedule here. All right. Yeah, Corey, I don't have that. I don't know of any shows that weekend. I do just know that a lot of people are going to be traveling up to the Atlanta area for Toyland, I think, but I don't know. I don't know anything about that. So again, I pay attention to other people's shows, but I don't, okay? Because I do think that I'm a unique show. When I started out, I worried about being, on the same weekend as other people's shows. I don't really worry too much about that anymore. I do a little bit, but not too much. Okay. So Sarasota, we still have some great space. I am down to like a couple 10 by 10s on the wall. I think I might have 1 or 2 wall spaces left. Everything else is aisles. I don't have any more end caps to give somebody. And so I just have aisle spaces in what I do want to do though is let me excuse me, let me show you. That would have been okay, let's see. This is just my go back here. And so that was so this is the show, the space, what it looks like there. That's empty. This is last year. This was that hotel. I don't remember what the name of it is, but these are some pictures from last year. So these over to the left are, 10 by 10 spaces. Jeremy and Richard will be there. Again, Shellhead is actually moved up to where the Lego guy is here. And this shows And I got to get Jason here back. This guy here in the blue. He's got a bunch of, he's got a cool YouTube page and the record guy. I haven't talked to him in a little while. Vintage Toy World, which hadn't opened yet, is going to be at the show in that same location. And so you'll have Shella Toys and you'll have him there. And then I haven't seen this cube thing again. But yeah, this is a picture of the show. Here we might have a slot car track on the back now. This is they have like a big like sitting area or something, balcony that's above the door, and so you can see the whole place. This is a very nice building. This is Sarasota again, guys. Just to give you an idea of this is last year's show. Okay. So let me go ahead and I'll remove that. And then we'll put back on the stage. So that's Sarasota, North Florida. I'm going to see if I have some pictures of that just for you guys that are interested in maybe. Let me just see. I think that was St. Augustine. Sorry if I'm boring you guys. I don't think I have any pictures of that. Okay. All right. And then we're going to be back in Tampa. That is our normal building that we're in at the end of the month. And all of these shows are open for vendor space, guys, including Port St. Lucie and I think Orlando. So I have through June. I may add another June show. I don't know, but I'm not ready to talk about that yet. So anyway, but we have 6 shows in the next 60 days. So I know that sounds like a lot, but it's tax time. It's the hot time of the year for shows other than late March. I don't really think March 30th would be fine. Last year we had Super RetroCon in the late March. That really wasn't that great of a plan, I don't think. And let's see. Someone asked about Keith. Oh, that I did forget. I need to post that he's going to be there. Keith Coogan and will be at the Sarasota show. So we're going to try to get guests. I'm going to try to get guests for the St. Augustine show too. Don't know. I have an idea of who I'm going to get, and then we'll probably have we might have somebody at the April Tampa show also. All right. And Aubrey, thanks for coming out. Hopefully you sign up to some other ones here in the future. Port St. Lucie's down the street from you. Let me know. And I think that should be it. Okay. I guess we can call it a night here, but I'll be on here more. I'm going to post some videos. I did a pre-show video at the South Florida building in January that on my little camera thing that I got. I haven't posted that up. I haven't even really plugged it into my computer. I need to do that. And then, so I'm going to put that up on the page here, maybe next couple days. And then I also did some footage with Fears this weekend at the Coco show. So I might share that video stuff. We're doing more on Instagram too. I'm going to be doing more of that because that seems to, help get the word out. And then, I'm not really sure what we're doing. I need a signed Toy Soldiers. Okay, yeah, I'm sure he has that. I think just bring it and he'll handle that. But he's coming in April there. All right, guys. Well, I guess I'll let you go. And thank you again for coming out to the show. And we will see you in South Florida in about a week. I'll be posting maybe some stuff that we're going to do this weekend. I'm going to look and see what's going on this weekend. Right now I'm dealing with, fixing vehicles and stuff like that and organizing the toys and catching up on stuff. So, we'll talk at you soon. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Bye now.